Welcome back to the Desert Workshop. On this video, I'm going to fast forward through the majority of it because there was a lot of content, but I wanted to squeeze it down into the acceptable range that I'm trying to aim for. And I'm going to talk through each part. What you can see here is I'm drilling a hole through. This is the only bit that I could find that was even close. I'm drilling a hole through so the power can go through to the jacks, from the battery to the jacks. And it's a little bit too small, so I had to file it down a little. I reused the connection for the power jacks, and then when we get to the other side, I'm going to explain. I left a little bit extra on the wires when I cut them when I first took this out, because as you can see, it's red to black and black to white. So I wanted to make sure I got the correct wires on there, so I left those little extra. It's just a kind of handy tip. I actually had to go to Home Depot and get some wire connectors that were 12 gauge because the only thing I had was 14, because all my stuff was for automotive and it wasn't quite large enough. So yes, 14 is smaller than 12. Just another tidbit of information. Sorry about the shoulder in there, but this one, it wasn't a difficult job once you got your tool in there right. It wasn't difficult. You just twist the wire, strip back the insulation, clamp on the wire, and then clamp on the other side. Strip back that insulation and clamp it on. Had plenty of wire room for that. I made sure before I cut them, so I wasn't running, trying to squeeze things in, or didn't have to add any wire. I just added the wire connections. Okay, on this part, I'm just finishing up this side of the refrigerator. I'm adding in the other connections that ended up getting cut for the power for the refrigerator. Other than that, it's pretty simple. Once these are done, then you can put the refrigerator back and make sure you got all the connections right. I did test the refrigerator right after this just to make sure that it worked on DC power, and it did quite well. Alright, that side's all done. Now we moved over to the other side, which is where the water heater goes, and I just want to show you a little bit of the butyl tape installation. And so I pretty much go all the way around here with butyl tape. This is the gray because I really didn't like the white. You can see some remnants of the white around it. The white didn't stick very well, or it actually stuck really well to the paper, which is not what it's supposed to do. Alright, after I got all the butyl tape installed, now it was trying to install the hot water heater. Well, the hole that I made was a little bit smaller than it originally was, so it was a little difficult getting in. But the one thing I want to recommend is make sure that you get the wires correct. Those wires that I'm showing right there, they're blue, green, and black. Just make sure you have them, they're not tucked away. So what I ended up doing was actually connecting them first to put them in. And I would recommend also putting some tape over your propane line, because that styrofoam substance gets into there and it's kind of a pain to get it back out. But if you put some tape over it, it should keep that from getting in your line. I got it in. I forgot to show you when I was screwing it in, but it was just a bunch of screws all the way around. This part is just peeling off a lot of the silicone that was on there. There was a big spot. You can see that big blob at the bottom. That was where they were covering up a screw. Of course, all this is going to be replaced, but I was cleaning it up just before I put the rubber diamond plate on there. So I didn't want to forget to add this. There is a lot of cleanup before you can put the silicone on there, and also before you can put the next step, which is gluing in the diamond plate. All right, we're getting closer to the end. The only thing I would recommend on this is do it in a well ventilated area. Working with contact cement, it's kind of potent. But the other thing is make sure that you have enough time to dry. Don't try to put it up when it's wet. It's not going to stick, and then you're going to have to go back and keep pushing it on. You have about 2 hours to play with, but they recommend around, I think it's 15 to 20 minutes to stick it up, because it's got to dry at least that long before you put it on. And you also have to put it on the other side. So this is the other part that I'm putting it on, so you also have to put contact cement there. And it kind of adheres, and it adheres quite well. I mean, it stayed up there. It's been up there probably about 2 to 3 weeks now, and I haven't had anything come back down. So it worked quite well for this application. And if you can see that black wall in the back, that's going to be coated in the rubber diamond plate also. I just got this far, and as you can see, this is the finished side of it. Those looks like bumps. Those are actually the seams between the wood. So I came back and a lot of those flattened out, and I put that metal L bracket that you see to the left in there, so that's supporting it also. I think it turned out quite well. I'm going to be excited to see it when it's completed on the other side too. I think it's going to look really good. And then of course I'm going to go around all the edges with silicone. And here's the driver's side, so it turned out quite well. You see a little bit of space in there with the wood, but I will get silicone on that and it'll be watertight. All right, I got the front cap back on, got the drip plate, and then these edges right here, they went in fine. I had to do a little bit of trimming on the side, which is not too bad since I pretty much remodeled the whole thing. But I got all this done, so I need to, if I could point to it, those are the bumpers. I'm gonna have to buy some more bumpers or find some more bumpers for the back of the vehicle, because they really didn't fit on mine anyway. They're too small. I need a little bit bigger bumper. But you know, you see a lot of the silicone drippage, but that's gonna all get cleaned up when I decide to paint this. But right now it's functional. I got to clean up this. The black silicone is really hard to use. I'm gonna try a different trick. I'm gonna do some painter's tape on the top and the bottom, and just to clean that up a little. But once I pull these down, that's why I was doing black right now, is because this is going to be gray, and I thought it looked better than white. I still have to replace that. Let's see, project, this took a little longer than I wanted, and I haven't been able to use the camper all summer. I guess I'll go fall camping. But I haven't really done much to the back, and once I scrape all these off and paint it, then it'll be good. But in the next 2 days, it's supposed to rain again. Yes, it's been a very wet year. But other than that, I mean, it's pretty much done for right now. I've got, you know, the structure of all of it put together. So I'm happy right now. I can slowly do the other stuff as I go because I need to get to some of my other projects. Of course, I said in one of my videos, my second daughter's getting married, so I have that project. I actually have 2 or 3 for that, and then we'll see from there. But I am pretty happy the way it's turned out. Yeah, it's not straight off the manufacturer's thing, but I think it's pretty sturdy. I've got to check the propane lines, and I'm also going to start working on the generator, see what I can do with that.